Hey everyone, it's Jenny, and I recently left my job and I'm currently experiencing what life is like post 9 to 5. Seeing my life change after working a 9 to 5 for all of my 20s now, I've been experiencing a few mindset shifts. And had I not left, I don't think I could have experienced these changes within this time frame. And also, I'm going to be running a few errands today. Come along with me as I talk you through these mindset shifts.
Okay, let's try this. I wish I had eyes in the back of my head. I've been working on my pride, but the rest of me cares. Every time I feel alive, it be
Can I get a hamburger, please, with grilled onions and chopped chilies with well-done fries? Appreciate it.
Calling you boo. Please don't ghost me, love me, hug me, hold me. See?
Okay, I got my order. And there's something about eating In-N-Out in the car that I just love. But in regards to the first mindset shift, and after I, left 9 to 5, I've had a ton of space to think about a lot of things that I just didn't have the mind space to think about before. And the first shift was in regards to my relationship with my own power. And I think I subconsciously believed that power was something I had to earn or be bestowed upon versus believing that it was inherently mine. But I realized that if I don't believe that it's mine to begin with, then it's so much easier to give it away. I very easily gave away my power to the companies I worked at, whoever my manager or director was at that time, or even, the state of my performance reviews, right? And I think that happens when my identity and self-worth was so wrapped up with my job. And I realize how that erodes at you over time. So good.
너의 중요하다는 words. It's for you. It's obvious.
So I'm back at home and I picked up a few things from Michael's because I decided to make DIY holiday cards. And I actually printed out these super cute Polaroid sized photos of core memories this year between me and my closest friends. It's super cute. And this one's actually for Amy. She'll know what it means. Huh? Okay. So while I do that, I also wanted to talk about, the second mindset shift that I experienced after leaving my 9 to 5. And this mindset shift really came from after I did my end of year ritual. So basically every December, I have this tradition where I read through an entire year's worth of diary entries and I write an essay about it based on, the top takeaways. And I realized that the majority of my journal entries actually really reminded me of this quote: "Your internal identity tends to lag 2 years behind your external reality." And I think that gap between that internal identity and that external reality is because of two things. One, a series of beliefs that I held about myself that are outdated and no longer serve me. And I think the second is just because I've grown a ton. For those of us that tend to be more cerebral, hypercritical kinds of people, I think it's really helpful to just take a step back, take apart those thoughts that you may have about yourself, those statements that constantly rattle in your brain, and then look at your life and how you're showing up in the world and the validation or affirmations that you're receiving from people you trust. And if there is a pretty large gap, and I think that's a very good signal to recalibrate and realign that so that you actually don't start holding yourself back. So I'm making curry for dinner now, and I thought I would talk about the third mindset shift that I experienced after leaving my 9 to 5. And that is realizing that progress is not linear. In every job I worked at, I measured my progress in quarterly increments. whether or not I achieved my OKRs for that quarter. And also like the state of my performance reviews. Am I up for promotion or not? There is still very much those guardrails for you to understand, where do I need to be at a certain time, and in that journey, am I on track? And after I left my job, I, tried to take a similar approach of giving myself OKRs and milestones for the year. And I realized that doing that too much up front, like planning for an entire year, really dampens my ability to explore and be sensitive to my own curiosities. So I've reframed it to think like, you know what, I'm on this quest of collecting as many nodes as possible and trusting that later on I'd be able to connect those nodes. And as time passes, I would be able to see the constellation that is before me. And I define node as any unit of output that meaningfully moves the needle, such as, at least for me, an interview with a potential customer or a meeting with a potential co-founder, so on and so forth, so that it really weeds out a lot of activities that seem really productive but are either like a waste of time or false positive indicators of progress. So all that to say, those are the mindset shifts that I've been having so far, but I am sure I will encounter so much more. I honestly feel like this process so far has been a very vulnerable process, to say the least, as well. For the first time in a long time, I feel like a beginner. I feel like I have like a blank canvas in front of me and I have all the colors in my arsenal and I get to choose what I want to paint. And it's both an exhilarating but also very anxiety-inducing experience. I keep reminding myself that, this opportunity is such a gift and also an immense privilege. So I hope you'll join me as I give you peeks here and there in my process. And also just a quick thank you from both Amy and I for watching our videos this year and tuning in. I know we haven't been the most consistent, but we want to make so much more for you guys in the new year. So thank you again, and please like, comment, subscribe. We love hearing from you guys, and Happy New Year! We'll see you in the next one. Bye.